Hello, everyone, and happy last day of 2025. This is a celebration for me, at least, because I know I keep talking about it, but 2025 just wasn't my year. So, not only are we celebrating the birth of 2026, we're celebrating the funeral of 2025. We're celebrating that she's getting buried today and never to be brought up ever again. And we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that 2026 is not a repeat of 2025. 2026 is finally going to be our year. At least I say this every single year. Like, this is going to be my year. And I kind of knew going into 2025 that it wasn't going to be because I was already starting in, like, not the best situation. But I'm ready now. I'm ready for 2026 to be my year, and I'm confident that it's going to be. So, what's the first step in making sure that the new year is going to be your year and going to be the best year yet? We all know the answer. It's going on Pinterest and making a vision board. You need to make a vision board for the new year. I've done it every single year since 2016. I was just looking at my Pinterest and going through like all of my past vision boards, and this kind of made me like sad in a way that all of my vision boards since 2016 all look so similar. Like, obviously the quality of the photos have gotten better and it got like a little bit more aesthetic, but the general message has been the same. So it's sad in a way because it's like, oh wow, like I'm moving really slow towards these goals, but you know what? At least I'm consistent. I'm consistent in what I want and I know what I want. And when I finally get it one day, it's gonna hit so hard. It's gonna be like, wow, we finally did it. You know what? I might as well delete Pinterest off my phone. We finally turned this vision board into reality, and I'm gonna appreciate it so much. If you don't have Pinterest on your phone, please go download it. It's the best app you could possibly go on because it's good vibes only. Like, there's no such thing as bad vibes on Pinterest. You could hop on Instagram and TikTok and start comparing yourself to people or seeing like some terrible news going on in the world. You go on Pinterest, it's good vibes only. And it's quite interesting actually because on Instagram and TikTok, I'll feel these emotions of comparing myself to people, even though on Pinterest, I'm literally seeing the most gorgeous girl with like gorgeous, luscious hair with rollers in, eye mask on, red light therapy mask on, in a private jet, remote with suitcase and passport by her side, on her iPad, drinking an iced coffee while reading a book. And I won't compare myself to her because she's not real in my mind. Like, she's there just to inspire me. I don't know her name. I don't know where she's from. I don't know anything about her. But if I saw this exact girl on like TikTok, then I would go stalk her entire account. And it feels more real. So you're like comparing yourself to her. But when it's just a cute photo, it's just inspiring. So clearly, I love Pinterest. I've been spending a lot of time on it because I'm rebranding, as they say. I'm planning for the new year. I'm making sure this is the best year ever. I'm trying to inspire myself, put myself in a better mood by seeing these amazing pins and motivate myself. One of my favorite type of pins on Pinterest are the quotes. I need to see like at least one motivational quote a day. I just love them. They keep me going. And Pinterest has the best quotes. Like, you'll just be scrolling for outfit inspo and then you'll come across a quote that you just needed to hear. It's like Pinterest knew that this is something that you needed to be told right now. And it'll also be written in like beautiful script handwriting on a notebook on the most beautiful vanity, because everything on Pinterest is just like so beautiful and it makes the quote hit even harder. Which leads me to what this episode is going to be about. Welcome to episode 3, quotes by my wise mother. So maybe this is why I love quotes so much, but my mom is the queen of quotes. Whenever me and my siblings would tell her something that we were like going through or whatever, her response back to us was to drop bars on us with the best quote you've ever heard in your entire life. And they have stuck with us our entire lives. I asked them, like, which are the quotes of mommies from when we were growing up that like stuck with you and you still remember, and we basically all had identical lists because these were the best ones that she would say all the time and just really stuck with us. Before I get into her quotes, let me tell you a little bit about my mom so you can understand who these quotes are coming from, and it'll just mean so much more because she's the best person ever. So my mom was born in Albania. She's the oldest of 3 siblings, and she also was basically raised by a single mother. She lost her dad really young, so she was forced to grow up super quickly. Obviously, she was the oldest of her siblings. Her mom was super young herself. This basically just forced her to become an adult at a super young age. She then also got married at a really young age. She got married at 18, which in Albanian culture, it's really common for the woman to get married really young, at least back then, and like in Albania. Not so much anymore with like Albanians in America or even Albanians there. People have been progressing lately. So this always sounds really crazy to like my American friends, but the way that my parents got married, my dad was 31 at the time, living in America. He immigrated here really young. So he was already living here. He was 31 and unmarried, and his parents were like, it's time that you go back to Albania and you find a wife. You need to go find a good Albanian girl. So they brought him to Albania, and they basically bring him around to like a bunch of families they know that like have good families with good unmarried girls. And they brought him to my mom's house, and they say that it was love at first sight. So this is a story that we were always told. My dad and his parents came to my mom's house, and once they settled in, my mom like came out, because that's what Albanians do. Like the girls of the family will like serve the visitors. Like they come, bring them food and coffee and like whatever they ask them, what do you want to drink? And then like the girls are who like bring it out to them. So she asked my dad, how do you take your coffee? And he said, however you take yours. And then they were engaged 2 months later, and then their wedding happened. I don't know how soon after, really soon. This all happened really soon. They got married in Albania, and then she came back to America with him. And then she moved into his family's house. Like my grandparents, she moved in with them. So she went from being the eldest daughter of a single mother and like already having a huge part in like helping raise her younger siblings, to then just immediately jumping into being married and living with her husband's entire family. She then also got pregnant really soon after. She had her first child, which is my older sister, at 19, I believe, and then me at 21, and then my younger brother at either 22 or 23. Me and my younger brother are really close in age. We're like just over a year apart. So, moral of the story, this lady's been through a lot. She also really never even got the chance to get an education. She graduated from high school, and like that was it. There was never even an option. Like, do you want to go to college? That wasn't even an option. But she's wise beyond her years, and she's always been wise. And I hope that me giving this context makes you take her word that much more seriously, because you're like, yeah, this lady knows what she's talking about. She's been through a lot. She's also just the most kind, generous, selfless, caring person you will ever meet. There's no one with a kinder soul than her. Her soul is made out of straight gold. Like there's not even one bad bone in her body. You can't even say something hateful around her because it'll like hurt her. Like she can't hear any negativity. She's just the most amazing person ever. Okay, let me hop into her quotes. Okay, so this one's kind of funny because I honestly think she came up with it first, because we've been hearing this from her since we were like in elementary school. And apparently a very famous man is who coined this quote, but I swear she said it before him. But it's as simple as find a friend that's better than you. This was the first one that me and my siblings thought of right away when I was coming up with this list, because she's been telling us this since the dawn of time. And apparently, Warren Buffett said this in 2007. He said, it's better to hang out with people better than you. Pick out associates whose behavior is better than yours, and you'll drift in that direction. So I think my mom's IQ is very similar to Warren Buffett. And she's been telling us this since we were in elementary school. The most important thing to take from this quote is to surround yourself with good people. Like, I think that was the biggest thing that she wanted us to take from it, especially because we grew up in an area that kind of had a lot of corrupt kids, I guess you could say. So she wanted to make sure that we stayed with the good ones and didn't go down like the bad paths, like a lot of kids that are in our area ended up going down. Okay, sorry, quick angle change. I had my phone in this suction sticky thing that I put on the windshield to hold my phone as I record, but it keeps falling. It was sticky and had suction for one day, and it lost that ability really quickly. So I need to get some better podcast equipment. Okay, anyway, back to what I was saying. Not only is it obvious that you should be friends with good people and surround yourself with good people, this quote is saying find a friend that's better than you. Specifically, better than you. And when my mom used to say this, I'd be like, what do you mean? Like, why would anyone ever be better than me? Why would I put myself down to say that person's better than me? And I never understood it until I got older and my brain was developing a little bit more and I could understand things a little bit more deeply. And my friendships in college are like the best example of this. So my freshman year of college, I became really close friends, best friends, attached at the hip, one might say, with this girl who lived on my floor. And let's just say she was not the best influence. I was always like a super quiet girl. I never cared to go out. I also can't really drink. My body is just really sensitive to alcohol. If I drink too much, I immediately puke it up. And this friend of mine, I don't want to say forced me, but heavily peer pressured me. Basically tell me all the time, like, no, just drink. Like, the more you drink, you'll be able to tolerate it more. Like, your tolerance will get stronger. And I believed her, so I would just like start drinking like crazy and going out. We would go out like 4 times a week. I was missing classes. Her priorities were like all out of whack. And the more that I spent time with her, I started becoming more like her, which like was never me. In high school, I was like such a goody two shoes. All I cared about was school and class and studying. And when I became friends with this girl, my priorities were starting to align with hers. All I cared about was going out. Where should we go out tonight? Who's going to be at that party? What should we wear to this party? Let's go to the liquor store. Like, I was fully becoming someone that I never was. That's a whole nother story for another day, whatever ended up happening with that friendship. But long story short, she wasn't around anymore sophomore year, and I found a new best friend named Kate, who is still my best friend to this day. It's been what, like 8 years, I think, that we've been absolutely best friends. She's like a sister to me, and she's the first friendship I can really think of that when I met her, I was like, yeah, she's better than me. Especially the places she found me at. Still to this day, one thing about her that is so inspiring, and I really think that I changed so much in this area of my life by being friends with her, is being more of a planner and more organized and having your shit together. I was such a mess. Like, even before my crazy friend situation, I always was a super type B person. Like, I wouldn't write anything down. If I was just in class and they were like, we have a test next week on this day, I would just keep it in my mind. Like, I didn't write anything down. And Kate was the most proactive planner you will ever meet in your entire life. Like, every single thing about her day was planned. She was never late anywhere. And the more that I was hanging out with her, when I saw how much it helped her life that she was this way, that she was so proactive and organized, I started slowly becoming more and more like her. I obviously will never be at her full potential because she's like the most type A person alive. And I don't think I'll ever get to that final boss level. But I do think that I got a lot closer to the A than the B since being friends with her. Okay, that's just one example. Another example of a friend that I became better from by being friends with them was my friend Nikki, who I actually met because Kate, who was my everything, decided to go abroad our junior year. So I didn't even know what to do without her. I had no friends other than her. And I was like, I just have to go into housing this year, like random. Like, there's no one that I can think of that I like would plan to be a roommate with. So I just went in random and I got placed with Nikki. And we're also still best friends to this day. And something that I really developed from Nikki was her ability to be so open. She's like probably the best communicator alive, and she's only gotten like better since then. Like, we were what, like 18 at the time, but she was the first friend I really had, or even like person in my life in general, that was so willing to confront people. And I don't mean that in like an aggressive way, but like if she noticed that something was off, or like if you made a small comment that like she then thought deeply about, she would confront you about it and be like, hey, can we talk about this? And being friends with her, it's been so many years I've been friends with her, she's always kept this trait. I really think that I've started adopting it more and more. As I've said in my past 2 episodes, I used to be really bad with letting it out and talking about emotions and stuff. And I really think Nikki was like one of the biggest people who I learned to be better in this aspect from. Okay, let's not spend forever on each quote. The next quote is also in like the friendship realm. The next quote is, one rotten apple will spoil every other apple. This is a really famous one, but it really stuck with me and my siblings because my mom would give us like a physical demonstration of it. Whenever an apple went rotten, she would show us and say, like, if I leave this one here, all of the other ones will become rotten. And this also applies to your friends. If there's one bad friend, they will make all of you bad. So whenever you're around someone who you think is a bad influence, or you hear them doing bad things, or they're always getting in trouble, get away from them, or they're going to make all of you bad. And of course, I have another example for this one. I'm kind of responsible for this one. I brought in a friend into my college friend group who I was friends with when we were younger, and we had a great friendship then, but people change a lot as they get older. And since we were friends for so long, I never felt like there was an option to not be friends with her anymore. And I always just wanted her to be included in my college life because it was something that she never got to have. And she slowly started making all of us rotten. Basically, I had my college friend group and I would bring her around everywhere. And ever since like she started getting really intertwined with us, our group was just going downhill. We were fighting all the time. There was boy drama all the time. There was like people leaving each other out. There were secrets. Like it just became really, really bad vibes. And all of the issues were coming back to one person. And it really took a long time for me to like finally decide that I needed to remove her from my life, because when you're friends with someone for so long, it's really hard for you to, it's like a breakup. And there, I mean, it did take like one major thing that she did that was like, okay, it's time. And I swear, like, ever since she's been removed from our friend group, I think all of our lives have improved. I honestly don't even know where I would be in life if I stayed friends with this girl, because she was like my biggest hater, even though we were best friends. I I always loved social media. Like before TikTok was even a thing, I was like big on Instagram. I loved social media. I loved pictures. And whenever she would see me taking a picture, she'd be like, "Oh my god, like you're so full of yourself. Not everything needs to be about pictures. Like why can't you just come here and do this and like not have to record it and not have to take pictures of it?" And it started to make me feel so ashamed of like wanting to document stuff, and I really didn't. Like I took her advice. I was like, okay, like maybe I'm full of myself. Maybe I'm annoying everyone around me. Maybe I'm making everyone uncomfortable that I always want to take pictures. And probably the year after me and her stopped being friends, that's when I finally like built the courage to start posting on TikTok. So that really shows you like how much a bad friendship can affect your life. And my mom was right. My mom is always right. Okay, moving on from the friend stuff. This is my overall top favorite quote from my mother, and I tell my boyfriend it all the time because he's someone that like needs to hear this. By the way, all these quotes she would say in Albanian, and these are English translations. If they like don't sound that profound, that's why. This one can basically be translated to taking shortcuts will lead to a longer path in the end. And I tell my boyfriend this one all the time because he loves to try to find an easy fix or a shortcut because he might have felt lazy in the moment and like wanted to save some time. And then whatever that lazy quick fix he did ended up just causing more problems. So then he had to fix that easy fix he just did and then start over from the beginning and then do the first thing that he was supposed to do in the first place. This was a big one when we were in school. Like if we tried half-assing a homework assignment or cheating on an exam, that's when she would pull this quote out because she really did have a point. It's so much easier to just lock in and study for 5 hours and then perform well on your test than maybe cheat on your exam and then you get caught cheating and then you have to retake the exam. Or like with homework, you might as well just do the homework instead of going to school the next day and being like, oh, actually, I couldn't do the homework because I left this at school. And then your teacher's just going to give you like a bigger assignment to do. It was definitely a big one when we were in school. I use it on my boyfriend all the time. Like, for example, when we travel, he won't just pack a toothbrush and a razor and like all of the little toiletries that he needs because he was like too lazy and was in a rush. And then when we get to wherever we were going, then we have to go to a CVS and buy all of these toiletries every single time just because he couldn't take the extra 2 minutes to pack them. So that's like an everyday example of when you can really whip this quote out on someone. It also could be applied like literally, like if you're driving somewhere and the maps tells you to go this way and you're like, no, I know a quicker way that maps doesn't know. And then you try going that quicker way, but you actually didn't even remember what the quicker way is, and now you're just lost. And now instead of actually getting there quicker, you just added an extra 20 minutes to your ride. I love that quote. I use it all the time. Okay, next quote. This one she actually used on me recently. It's brick by brick builds the wall. Little accomplishments are important too. Every little win matters. Like, let's use fitness, for example. You really want to change your body, but you're like, I don't have time to go to the gym every day. I don't have time to do Pilates every day. You could just do little things. A little walk, a little 30-minute walk every day. Those 30-minute walks are eventually building the bricks to the wall that you're trying to eventually build. She also would pull this one out a lot with cooking. Not on me, because I was always an amazing cook, but like my sister was never a good cook. And even if she just made eggs or even if she just made pancakes, all of these small little things that she's cooking are eventually going to make her a bigger cook. Like she might not know how to make something really advanced yet, but if she keeps making all these small things, she's building all of those bricks that you need to eventually understand cooking and like be able to make the bigger things. I used it on me lately because I was complaining that I've only been getting like really bad brand deal offers lately. And she was like, brick by brick builds a wall. You can't get those bigger ones unless you're doing the small work first. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes it's annoying having such a wise mother because sometimes you just want to complain to her and then she responds back to you like Gandhi. Okay, this is another big one of hers. Today's work should not be left for tomorrow. And I know this like sounds so simple, but she would pull this on us all the time. She still does, but like especially when we were in school, if we were like, I'm just gonna wake up really early and do this assignment before school, she would pull that one out on us. And you know what? She's so right. It's so much better to just everything that you need to do, get it done the second you're feeling that stress that this is something I need to do. The longer you put it off, it's just going to stress you out so much more. Obviously, this was huge, like in school, but when it comes to adult things too, it's really important that when you have things to do, you just do them instead of putting it off forever. Because most of the time, the things that you have to do will take 5 minutes. For example, your taxes or anything involving taxes. When you need to do it, just do it. The longer you put it off, it's just going to get more and more stressful. So please, whenever there's something that you need to do, just do it. If you have to book a flight, just think that the sooner you do it, it'll be cheaper, you'll get the better flight. The longer you put it off, you're just causing more issues for yourself. Honestly, now we're like combining the shortcut quote with this one. She says this one a lot, even if it's just small things like shipping out a package or returning something, going to the supermarket to get groceries. She always says, if you know you have to do something, do it. Don't keep pushing it off. And honestly, sometimes I really need this push to like push me to do small tasks that I just don't want to do. But then I'll remember her quote and it'll push me to do them. And then I'm so happy I did it because it literally took 2 minutes and then removed a huge weight off my shoulders. Okay, this one I'm pretty sure is a really famous one, but I've only heard it from her. She's the only person I've ever heard actually say this quote, and she's how I learned it. It's lies have short legs and the truth has long legs. And this might be really self explanatory, but it's basically saying that lying won't get you far. You have short legs, you can't run that fast, and the person behind you with the long legs that tells the truth is gonna catch up to you. And then they're gonna knock you over. And then all your lies are gonna come out. This one's a big one for us. My mom is huge on honesty. Lying is like the worst thing you could possibly do. And I'm so grateful to have the most wise, loving mother ever because I've adopted so much of her mentality. I can't lie for the life of me. Anyone that's friends with me, my boyfriend, my family, I can't lie for the life of me. Like, so severely, I can't even keep a secret. Like, if a conversation comes up that might lead to me spilling details on a secret that I'm supposed to be holding, and then they're like, wait, what do you know about that? I can't lie. And I, even if it's not for like something bad, I can't bring myself to lie. This is pretty relevant in Albanian culture at least, but Albanians love to brag. And like they brag so much that it's almost becoming an exaggeration. For example, their kid graduated with a 4.0. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. Maybe they were the best student ever. But they're not only going to tell you that they graduated with a 4.0, they're going to tell you that they actually were the top of their class. They were the valedictorian. They were the number one graduate from that school. In the history of that school being opened, they are the best student that's ever came out of it. That's how much Albanians love to brag and exaggerate. And my mom obviously grew up with these people, and she always wanted to make sure that one, me and my siblings understood that they did this, so we like didn't compare ourselves to these people too much because sometimes they are lying. Sometimes they are, most of the time. So not only did she want us to be aware of this, she also never wanted us to be like that. If you accomplish something, that's great. You can talk about it, but never lie about it. And if you're ever not doing great, that's okay. Tell them that you're not doing great. I actually was like just with some family recently and I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna ask about whatever happened to my apartment. And my mom was like, tell them the truth. Tell them what happened. Just tell the truth. The truth will always get you further. Wait, I'm sad. We're on the last quote already. And it's the dog that barks a lot won't bite you. Okay, I know this sounds like an obvious one. We all know, like, oh, some people are all bark, no bite, or the tough guy usually like puts up big show, like they're so tough and they want you to be scared of them, but like they couldn't even hurt a fly. It doesn't seem that like life changing, right? But there was a time that my mom told me this that it really stuck with me forever, and it was like what I needed to hear to move on from this situation that made me feel like so nervous all the time. Honestly, is this the time that I talk about this situation? It was kind of a really traumatic, almost 2 years of my life when I was in college. This leads back to that girl that I was friends with freshman year that I was saying wasn't the best influence. She somehow got me. Well, I got myself into it too, but like she snowballed it into a situation that I had really, really, really bad drama with this girl. We were like arch nemesis. Like it was serious. We were enemies. We actually had a restraining order, like given by the school, that we can't be near each other because like she would threaten me. I don't want to sound like the full victim in it because I did have a huge part on like why she hated me so much. The thing that I did that caused this, I did it when I was like friends with that girl who was a really bad influence on me. Just for context, it wasn't anything like crazy, but when you were 18, it was a big deal. Anyway, this girl hated me and she was like really popular at our school. She was friends with like all the cool kids. She was like everyone in the whole school knew her, even though she was only a freshman. Like everyone knew her. She was the coolest girl. She had way more pull than me. Like she had way more connections than me. And after we had this like huge fight, she then made it her life mission to ruin my life and make sure that I couldn't enjoy one single day in that college as long as she was there. And it was like just everything. If she knew that there was like a boy I had a crush on, she would DM them. Everyone from our school would go to Miami for spring break. I would go to Miami with my friends. I would try getting into like some party or club, and I would be the only one that didn't get in. And then we would hear from down the grapevine it was because she told everyone, like, when that girl gets here, like, don't let her in. Like, it was really catty stuff, but it affected me like crazy. Like, I just felt like anything I did, even like I would visit a friend from another college, like via another friend, and somehow word would still get to them there that she knew I was there and she would try to cause hell for me there. I was driving home like every weekend from school during this era because I was just so stressed out and I felt like if I went back home, my drama with this girl didn't exist anymore. I just felt like I was always trying to escape her at all times and then I would go back to school and then they would be like, "Oh, blank actually just told everyone that you did this too." She also, via that girl, the bad influence girl, then like teamed up with her and they went through all of our text messages together, like me and this girl that we used to be best friends. So then she started getting me into like so much other drama because she was like showing people text messages that I said about them, which I thought was like in confidence to my best friend. So then I had like 10 other people hating me and just like embarrassing myself to people. Like she would show screenshots that I sent to like my best friend at the time, and then they were just like out in the open. It was a really, really hard time in my life. And during this time, when I was driving home every weekend and I felt like this was consuming my whole life, like having this crazy bully, my mom said to me, "The dog that barks a lot won't bite." And eventually I just started pretending like I didn't even know that she was bullying me. Like I didn't even know that this girl was doing everything in her power to ruin my life. I just was ignoring it. If someone said like, "Oh, she said this about you. Oh, she's going to be there." I was like, "Okay, let it happen. Let it happen. What's the worst that can happen at this point?" It was a crazy time in my life, okay? Like if you've ever been bullied and like had someone actually go after you like this, I'm really sorry. And like I don't even want to say bully because I did. I was like a big reason why she hated me so much. But like it didn't call for this. It did not call for what she did to me. What I did not even come close to deserving what I ended up getting for it. But you know what? Yeah, that was a really crazy time in my life. I actually forget that that happened sometimes, and then I'm reminded of it, and I'm like, oh wow, I actually had an arch nemesis. I actually checked up on her recently just to see how everything was going, and she's like in her soft girl era. She's in a happy relationship. She looks like she's happy now. I really hope that she's not tormenting people anymore. I wonder if I'll wonder sometimes like does she ever see my content and like just want to like expose me still from like 20 whatever year that was and still ruin my life. Right now I'm just feeling really grateful that I no longer have an arch nemesis. I can just take a deep breath and know that there's no one actively trying to ruin my life right now. That's a relief. Okay, so that's it for the quotes. I think from all the quotes that I gave you today, the most important ones that I really hope you take from this are the ones about friendships and choosing the people in your life because it really is the most important thing that you'll ever decide is who you surround yourself with. It can change everything. Even if you don't realize that it's having an impact on your life, please think deeper. Think about the most recent bad decisions you made and what influenced them, or bad things that happened to you recently, what led to those bad things happening, or whenever you're feeling stressed, what's causing that stress. If these answers are leading back to your friends and you're like, oh, this person that I'm with is the reason why I always feel stressed and why I always feel down on myself, or they're the reason why I'm always in drama, or the reason why that these bad things keep happening to us because they keep putting us in these like bad situations. Please, no matter how long you've been friends with them, it's never too late to cut someone off. It will improve your life so much when you get rid of those rotten apples, okay? You'll become a fresh apple again. Also, if you're watching this and you're like post grad or in your late 20s or even older, and you're like, well, the only friends I have are friends from college or high school or from my hometown that really aren't the best influence and are not better than me and are a little bit rotten, but they're the only friends I have, and I want to have friends to like go out with. So because of that, you don't want to cut them off because then you'll have no friends left and you think that you're too old and it's like too late now to make new friends. It's actually a lot easier than I thought to make friends in like your late 20s. And also, like they say, like your frontal lobe has developed a lot since you were in college. So now when you make friends, you're actually thinking more rationally, like, is this someone I want to be friends with? Is this someone that is bringing good into my life and is an inspiration and is a good influence on me? I actually made a new friend this year that I'm super grateful for. So I hope that you hear this story and it makes you feel more open to the fact that you can find a new friend in your adult life. So obviously I post on TikTok and I'm pretty parasocial. I know a lot of people that follow me, a lot of people that comment on a lot of my stuff. And there was this one girl who I would see comment on my stuff sometimes, and she also like posted a little. She didn't take it seriously or anything. Like she's not a full-time creator, but she did have some posts on her account. I knew she was a real person, and she had a few posts about like living in LA and then moving to New York. And she would comment on my stuff sometimes. And when I mentioned that I'm moving back to New York, I remember she commented on one of my posts saying like, "Oh, I'm also moving back. We should hang out sometime." And then months later, when she did move back, she followed up, and I was like, "Yeah, let's just do it." I know she's a real person, right? Because she has posts on her account. So we hung out that one time. Fun fact, if you follow me on TikTok, it actually was the day that I spilled coffee on my white jeans. And I made a video about it, and people were like freaking out that I went to my boyfriend's mom's birthday dinner with coffee on my white pants. That was the day actually that me and Joy hung out for the first time. We met at my favorite place ever, Pure Vita, which now is getting a lot of hate. Pure Vita like went too mainstream that now it's like open to too much hate, and now everyone's like finding out the calories and they're like, this place is actually really bad for you, and it kind of lost its aura because now it's like too mainstream. Anyway, this was earlier in the year and we just clicked immediately. We were together that day for like 5 hours. We started texting all the time. We've hung out so many times since then. And actually, like when I started this podcast, she was the first person that I like asked her opinion on it. Even like my first episode, I sent it to her to ask her opinion, like what she thought of it, because I really trust her judgment. She is better than me in several ways. And even though we've only been friends for like so short, I really learned so much from her. And yeah, like I said, she was from all of my friends. I have a lot of friends that I'm close with. From all of my friends, when it came to this like podcast, she was the first person I thought of that I was like, I'm going to send it to her because I really value her perspective on this and like her thoughts and her opinions. And she did give me really good feedback. And yeah, so shout out to Joy, and shout out to making new friendships in your adult life. Okay, so that's it for all of the advice. I'm happy that this week was kind of on a more positive note. My last two episodes were like really down in the dumps and kind of depressing, but we're starting 2026 in a positive mood, okay? So no more depressingness for a little bit at least. And also, I'm going to be starting out the year really strong. Me and Chris are going to Florida for like 4 days just because he has this time off from work. And actually, my friends and family always say like me and Chris are traveling all the time and we're like always jetting across the world, because it might seem like that to them because compared to like the average person, we are traveling a lot. But actually, a lot of the places that we go are work trips for Chris. And I'm just like tagging along because why not? It's a free trip. And like I work from my phone, so I might as well work from my phone from like somewhere fun in a nice hotel. And then most of our international trips have also like been with family. So we kind of needed a trip of just the two of us to relax and start the year out in a great mood. Okay, I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that everyone starts working on their Pinterest boards and builds the best vision board for 2026, and you start writing out your plans and your goals and how you're going to accomplish them, and you're going to clean your room, and you're going to take the advice from the last episode, and you're going to go through your following and unfollow people who are negative. And if when you were hearing me talk about bad friendships and all of that, unfollow those people too, okay? We're all going to have the best year ever. And I hope in the new year that my podcast is in a studio and not in the car. So don't forget to email me things that you need to let out. I really want to start incorporating that. So we need to get them before we can start talking about them. And don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on TikTok and Instagram, and tune in every Wednesday for more episodes of Letting It Out with Lizzie Dushaj. Okay, I love you guys, and we'll talk next week. Bye.